So welcome back to the channel. I'm assuming if you're here, you probably have a 543 valve. And you're probably wanting to bulletproof it because they got a few issues. So let's talk about it. So I've done a bunch of work to mine. I've been posting some shorts about it over the past couple of weeks while I've been working on it. And I've pretty well got it bulletproof now. And a lot of people have been asking, what do I need to do to bulletproof? What did you do? So today we're going to talk about all of it in completion. You don't have to do everything I did. Some of the stuff I did is more just because I tow with the truck a lot, right? So I tow all across the country with, I got 24-foot enclosed, whatever. And I want to make sure all my temps and everything stay good and cool while I do all this. So I'm going to start with going over this bulletproof build. I'm going to add some photos as we go to kind of just give you an idea of everything. And we're going to talk about it all. So I'm going to start at the furthest inside of the engine that I did. And the first thing, and probably one of the most important things for these engines, is a high volume oil pump. So I installed a milling. It's milling 340 HV. They have a 340 and a 360. I went with a 340 over the 360. The reason why is I didn't want the higher oil pressure. The 360, I believe, is an 80-pound spring in it for 80 pounds of oil pressure cut off. And I didn't want to run that high oil pressure and risk the chance of washing my bearings and stuff. I did a little research on that. The 360 I found was more for the 2-valve engine. So the 340 HV is the oil pump I put in this thing. And what that will do is more oil pressure and more oil flow, because more flow will result in more pressure. And what that'll do is prevent you from having a lot of timing issues and make sure everything is well lubricated inside the engine, which is very important for these engines. Oil is very important. Changing your oil is very important. The small oil passageways in the 3-valve makes it very important for all the timing and everything that works. It's all hydraulic actuated, all from the cam phasers and everything. So that's what I did. I put the milling 340 in it. The next thing I did is I replaced all the roller followers underneath the camshafts. They have an updated design on them now. The hole is kind of offset from where it was to begin with, which gives more oil to the cam. So it directs the oil better towards the camshaft, which prevents a lot of the camshaft delamination. So we put those in, and then I put the Ford Performance lash adjusters in for the 4.6 3-valve, for the 4.6, yeah. What they do is they don't bleed off oil pressure quite as fast, so they hold a little bit more pressure for the higher RPMs. Because towing, sometimes getting on the interstate, you got to let the truck eat. So I put those in. The other thing I did while I had it apart, because I pulled the cab on the truck and made it a lot easier to get all this. The other thing I did is I put new timing chains in. I put in the updated cam phasers, all new VCT solenoids, and that was just kind of preventative. Especially considering I got 130 miles on this truck, and I went ahead and did all that. The second most important thing that I did in this thing is the cast timing chain guides from the older version of the 3-valve and the 2-valve. The 3-valve that I have, it's an '09, and it has the plastic guides in it. They have a gasket on the backside in which will blow out, and when it blows out, that causes you to lose oil pressure in the oil path, oil flow, basically, and you'll lose oil pressure in both the heads. So I didn't want to have that problem later and end up delaminating cams and eating the bearing surfaces up. So I put the cast timing chain guides in, and what that'll do is their machine surface on machine surface, they won't leak. And it's kind of a controversial topic as far as whether you should put the cast in, leave the plastics, because the cast ones are ratcheting style, which makes it have more pressure on the timing chain majority of the time. So what they'll do is they'll ratchet out and continue to hold pressure on the timing chain, and a lot of people don't like that because they say it'll stretch your chain out. But as a Ford technician and doing this for a while, the new 5 liters have ratcheting, 3.5 has ratcheting timing chain tensioners. So I don't know what the major deal is because they're still using them. If it was that big of a problem, I'd say they probably would have quit using them by now. So I stuck with the 3.5, or not the 3.5, the cast timing chain guides, or not guides, the tensioners, my bad. But I put the cast tensioners in so I don't have any oil leaks and things along that line. The other thing I did too, which isn't necessarily needed if you keep up with maintenance. As long as you keep up on maintenance, typically you won't have a problem. But the plastic timing chain guides do like to break in these things. And when they break, they jump time. And if you jump a tooth or two on these engines, you're not going to have piston and valve contact like with the modern 3.5 EcoBoost. You're going to be okay, but it's really going to run bad. You're going to be misfiring on the whole bank, and it's not ideal. So with me towing, 6-8 hours away from home, I didn't want to take that risk of one of the plastic guides breaking and then being stuck somewhere. So I went with MMR billet timing chain guides, and they're going to hold up a lot better. The billet aluminum isn't going to break compared to the plastic guide, so I don't have to worry about that anymore, which is definitely good. The other thing I did while I had the cab off, which I had an exhaust manifold leak from where I broke stud. Stud broke last time I was towing. We went to Brimstone in Tennessee riding side by sides. So had an exhaust leak when I got home. So what I did is I went ahead and got some shorty headers, not the highest quality ones. Having some issues with that. I got to take the truck to the exhaust shop to get the flange fixed later. But the main deal with that is I put in stainless exhaust studs. The stainless ones aren't going to shear and rust in two like the factory ones. So I'm not going to have to deal with that near as much. Not going to be an issue. So if you ever have an exhaust leak and you're doing manifolds on a 3-valve, probably a good idea to go ahead and get some stainless studs. You can find them on Rock Auto, Amazon, all over the place. So I'd go ahead and replace them with stainless studs. You're not going to have any issues later. The other thing I did is towing with this truck a whole lot. I want to make sure my oil temps stay good and my trans temps stay good. So I added oil coolers and trans coolers, as you can see in the back here and here. There's my oil cooler, trans cooler, and I also did an oil filter relocate. I'm going to have another video on that, kind of overviewing it. I didn't really see very many on YouTube whenever I was getting ready to do it. So I'm going to add that, and the way, if you're thinking about doing what I did, you can kind of view some of it. But I'm also running into an issue now with the oil coolers. For my oil temp isn't high enough because I didn't put a thermostat in it and didn't think about it. So now my oil temp at operating temp's about 130 degrees, which is a little bit too low. So working on getting a thermostat put in that, so the truck's down for the moment. But adding the cooler and the oil filter relocate, as well as a bigger oil filter than the 820 that the Ford 3-valve takes to begin with. I'm now holding about 10 quarts of oil as opposed to the factory 7. So a little bit more oil in it, a little bit more to have to heat up. More oil is always better for what I'm doing. Trans cooler to help keep the transmission cool, which it already had the secondary cooler anyways, but I got the oversized. They say it doesn't fit. I ordered it on, I believe it was American Trucks. They say it won't fit in 09. It only fits in 11 to 14. No, I got it to fit, no problem. So the other thing I did too as well is I converted mine from electric fan, or from mechanical fan to an electric fan. So 2010 they converted and they started using electric fans on the 5.4 trucks on the F-150. 09 they had the mechanical. So I converted it to electric fans by getting the fans for an 11 F1 or a 1011 F-150. So I ordered the fans for those. They mount right up to the radiator. It's no problem. And then I got a Mishimoto pulse width variable controlled fan controller. So that's what's running my fans. And then I have the coolant temp sensor piped into the upper radiator hose to give me a more accurate reading. I tried the temp probe in the radiator. It was just off a little too far. So I got a bung that goes in between, inside the upper radiator hose. And that's when I'm running that off. So as an overview, that's kind of everything I did to bulletproof this thing. We went with the Melling 340 high volume oil pump, the updated roller followers, the Ford Performance lash adjusters, new timing chains, the updated cam phasers, new VCT solenoids. We went with the cast timing chain tensioners. We went with the billet timing chain guides. We did some shorty headers, oil filter relocate, oil cooler, trans cooler, and electric fans. So that's everything that I did while I had the cab off the truck. some of the other kind of bonus items I'm going to throw in here is if you're towing with these trucks a lot, I've done a few things to mine that have really improved my quality of towing, because I'm pulling 8,000-10,000 pounds all over the place. So the main thing that I did that really I've seen the most benefit is I added the factory trailer brake control that the truck did not come with, and then I re-geared the differentials to 410s. So I have 410 gears in the truck, and then I did rough country airbags in the rear, which incredibly helped the ride quality of this truck when pulling the trailer. It's a lot better now. And I kind of just air the bags up, kind of trying to keep a level ride height is how I set my bags, and seems to do pretty good that way. I put an S&B cold air intake on it, which came with a new coolant reservoir tank because that thing got nasty looking. So replaced it, a little bit more airflow. I did the Edge Evolution CTS3 tuner. I haven't really turned it up a whole lot. I set it on the towing mode they got, and I really love the transmission shifting it does. And so keeps it from trying to lug up hills. I had that issue for a while with the factory tune. Whenever you start pulling uphill to try to lug overdrive or lug in fifth, it shifts a lot more on the fly now with the Edge tune. So really liking it. And then I got a Ford Performance diff cover for the rear. It's got the cooling fins in it to help keep the diff cool. I mean, yeah, so that's the most of it that I've done with this truck. Overall, pretty satisfied with how all the builds been coming out. Any more questions, leave them in the comments, and appreciate you watching. Hopefully this will help you out, and see you in the next one.